For all your t-shirt needs, check out TeePublic's Killer Selection. Follow the link in the description. Hey, what's up people? Pizzal here, and today I want to talk to you guys about the new Severin Films Blu-ray release for 1988's Zombie 3, directed by Lucio Fulci, or at least mostly directed by Lucio Fulci. Now, this is partially going to be a review of the movie, as well as a review of this Blu-ray release. And you may be asking yourself, Zombie 3? I'm familiar with Lucio Fulci's Zombie. Now, here's Lucio Fulci's Zombie 3. Where's Zombie 2? Well, that's a good question. And really, there is no Zombie 2, because in the European markets, namely in Italy, Dawn of the Dead, George Romero's film, was marketed and retitled as Zombie. Lucio Fulci's Zombie was marketed and retitled as Zombie 2. And here we have Zombie 3 and so on. So really, there kind of is no Zombie 2. As for Lucio Fulci's Zombie, that's a zombie movie that has everything that you could possibly want in a zombie movie. You've got buckets of blood, gallons of gore, great-looking zombies, great-looking women, a great score, a beautifully made film, an atmosphere of complete and utter dread. You've got lots of action. You've got it all. You've even got an underwater sequence in which a zombie fights a huge tiger shark. Not a puppet, no special effects, a real live tiger shark. And the zombie wins. How freaking epic is that? Zombie is one of my all-time favorite zombie movies. It might be my favorite Lucio Fulci movie. It is a great zombie movie. All the things that make Lucio Fulci's Zombie so great, unfortunately, were left out of Lucio Fulci's Zombie 3. What we have in Zombie 3 is more of an infection movie than a zombie movie. It's more, 28 days later than Dawn of the Dead. Basically, you have the military testing this new drug called Death 1 that is supposed to reanimate dead bodies, and it works really well because those reanimated dead bodies then go and kill people and sometimes eat them. Now, the biggest problem with Zombie 3 is the whole, they're more infected than they are zombies. They would much rather run around and attack people with machetes or choke people than actually eat them. This movie also features, well, I was going to say it mostly features the more fleet of foot zombies, but you've got the sluggish shufflers, and then you have the more fleet of foot zombies that are climbing trees and jumping out of trees at people, or they're hiding themselves under debris and jumping out and getting people. It's all over the board. They don't really feel like zombies in this movie. Again, they feel more like, the infected people from, say, 28 Days Later than zombies. And unfortunately, this movie does not feature any of the blood and gore that we have come to know and love from Lucio Fulci. It's a pretty dry movie. It's just a pretty dry movie, really all around. Now, you do have some shades of, Fulci style here and there. However, it's on a much more sort of tempered scale. Now, Lucio Fulci was very sick at the time of making this movie. He was fighting with the producers because they were not giving him the resources that he felt he needed to really make this a good movie. And at some point during the film, he just decided to say screw you to the producers and just started shooting a lot of really long, rambling sequences that involved a dialogue. At some point, Fulci, he had to bow out of the film because he was just so sick. The producers brought in Bruno Mattei and Claudio Fragazzo. We're talking about Bruno, Shocking Dark, Hell of the Living Dead, Cruel Jaws Mattei, and Claudio Troll 2 Fragazzo to do some rewrites and reshoots on this movie. And the end result is kind of a mess. It's kind of a mess. However, this film does include a sequence that I had to rewind 3 or 4 times to really soak in. There's an amazing sequence in which one character opens a refrigerator, and inside that refrigerator is a zombie head. And the zombie head, propelled by just, I have no idea, pure evil, I guess, flies out of the refrigerator, attacks this guy's neck. He falls down. The head is bobbing up and down on his neck, biting, tearing flesh. It's actually really cool, but it makes no friggin' sense whatsoever. The way they shot it looks great, but it's cool. I guess they were just like, hey, that doesn't make sense, but it looks cool, so it stays in the movie. The end result of Zombie 3 is really just kind of, it's all over the place. It feels really uneven. It feels kind of thrown together. It feels very, very messy. It is mildly entertaining, I do have to say, and that flying head out of the refrigerator is awesome. It's awesome. Doesn't make a lick of sense, but it's pretty awesome. This Blu-ray release from Severin Films is a very nice Blu-ray release for the film. It includes a 2K scan of the film, and it is being presented for the very first time in its uncut form in the US. This Blu-ray sports some very nice cover art there, and you get the Blu-ray as well as a CD of the soundtrack for the film. And this does have a pretty nice soundtrack. I do have to admit, there's a song that plays over the menu screen on the Blu-ray, and please make that selection quickly. Don't sit and listen to that song for too long, because you'll get that song in your head and it's not coming out of there for a while. Just leave it at that. As far as extras are concerned, first up, we get The Last Zombies. It's an interview with screenwriters Claudio Fragazzo and Rosella Drudy. It's 18 minutes and 49 seconds in length. Fragazzo discusses the origins of Zombie 3. He discusses some of the difficulties in making Zombie 3, including the fact that Lucio Fulci was not well at the time, and shooting in the heat of the Philippines wasn't ideal conditions for him. He discusses how at one point Fulci asked a Filipino healer to cure him, and they pretended to operate on him with their hands. I'm sure you've seen that, where, it's that con artist thing where they pretend like they're operating on you with their hands, and they're pulling out fake blood and chicken parts and stuff. And yeah. Mr. Fragazzo also discusses how he rewrote the film, and how he worked on Bruno Mattei how he worked with Bruno Mattei on the reshoots. Ms. Drudy discusses how furious Fulci was with the producers of the film, and how he felt that they had not given him the resources he needed to make the film properly. She discusses how the lead actors in the film refused to come back to do the reshoots because they hated shooting the film so much in the Philippines. Mr. Fragazzo calls Zombie 3, quote unquote, another failed zombie movie because the script was so much better than the film that was made. Very entertaining commentary, or very entertaining interview, I should say, with Mr. Fragazzo and Ms. Drudy. Next up, we have Tough Guys, an interview with actor/stuntman Massimo Vanni and Ottaviano del Acqua. It's 4 minutes and 55 seconds in length. I believe this interview was from a previous release of the film. They discuss working with Lucio Fulci and the dangers of shooting the film in the Philippines, which included guerrilla warfare in the streets. Always nice. They discuss showing the Filipino actors who played zombies Fulci's Zombie, the first film, in order to teach them how to act like zombies. They discuss working with both Lucio Fulci and Bruno Mattei and how they coordinated the action scenes for Zombie 3. Nice interview with those gentlemen. Next up, we have The Problem Solver, an interview with replacement director Bruno Mattei. It's 8 minutes and 30 seconds in length. It's an interview that was also included on a prior release of the film. Mr. Mattei discusses how he was hired on to perform the reshoots for Zombie 3. He discusses the specific scenes in the film he directed, which he estimates is about 40% of the final film. Mr. Mattei admits to not watching his own movies and, in his opinion, quote unquote, all of my movies are bad. Now, had a lot of respect for Mr. Mattei because he was I think I said in my review of Shocking Dark that the guy had huge cojones, that he had the rocks of Gibraltar in his pants, which is true. But so much respect for the late Bruno Mattei. So much respect. Next up, we have Swimming with Zombies, an interview with actress Marina Loy. It's 4 minutes and 30 seconds in length. That was also included on a prior release of the film. Ms. Loy discusses being cast in Zombie 3 and working with Lucio Fulci, who she describes as having a very intelligent sense of humor, so that even if he insulted you, you still laughed about it. She discusses shooting the film in the Philippines. She discusses having very fond memories of her time working on Zombie 3. Very nice brief interview with Ms. Loy. Next up, we have In the Zombie Factory, an interview with FX artist Franco di Girolamo. It's 5 minutes and 56 seconds in length. Mr. Girolamo discusses the different effects he worked on for the film, including the infamous flying zombie head, and he actually still has that zombie head in his studio. He also discusses working with both Lucio Fulci and Bruno Mattei. We get a trailer for the film, and we get an audio commentary with stars Darren Severin and Beatrice Ring. I watched about 25 minutes of the film with their commentary. Pretty funny commentary, I should say overall, with the exception of when they talked about how sick Lucio Fulci was at the time. He had cirrhosis of the liver, and I believe liver cancer, and he had to literally have fluid suctioned out of his liver while they're on the set, and I believe he performed that himself. He did not like doctors. During the interview with Claudio Fragazzo and Ms. Drudy, they actually discuss how when he needed to have his teeth removed, he removed them all himself. So, Lucio Fulci, he was a tough guy. Very tough guy. This is a very nice release for Zombie 3. I'm not a big fan of the movie, but Severin Films, as they always do, they rolled out the red carpet for this film. The picture quality and the sound quality are both fantastic, and we get some really nice extras on here as well. If you're a fan of Zombie 3, you definitely want to look in to picking up this Blu-ray and adding it to your collection. I can only recommend it to the most diehard zombie movie fans out there if you've not seen the film. But very nice release from Severin Films. I'll put a link to their website in the description. Go over and check them out. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. They're also right around here. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Join the A Buck a Month Club and help support my channel on Patreon. Thank you to my current patrons, Kevin Smythe, Orc145626, B-Movie Mike, Stephen Flanagan, Lori Holt, Mitch Odell, Craig Farrand, Robert Sobel, Farron Sutton, Jeremiah Lambert, Turi Delamore, Joseph Charles Worth, Grindhouse Grotto, Derek Jana, PB Sam 6, Demon Waffles, Tim Williams, and Stone Gassman. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.